Definitely, I do consider it a good deal because I think what the federal government did was to put the cart before the horse instead of the horse going before the cart. These negotiations, these consultations were what the federal government are supposed to do before even announcing the tax reforms or even sending it to the National Assembly. I think sometimes the federal government should understand that this is a federation where there are, federated states that have a share in all this. So the federated states must have a say in this kind of reform. And I think that was a mistake that was done by those who pushed the bill. That these consultations with the Governors Forum, with all the different stakeholders, with the elected representatives of the people ought to have been done before the bill even went to the National Assembly, so that it will have the necessary power to push it into law. But what did we see? We saw that it was already gone. Then there were bickerings before it came out again, before these negotiations and consultations. But all said and done, it is good that the Nigeria Governors Forum are now supporting the bill with some, variations here and there. And we hope that the variations they have made will be acceptable to the president, so that we can get this behind us and seek ways to improve our tax systems. But there was silence on one point, which is one of the contention was that consumption tax, for example, is coming from the headquarters of the corporate bodies that are actually, the companies where they are situated, rather than from where the products are being consumed. That is a thorny issue, which I don't know if the Governors Forum also addressed. So that also has to be addressed. Where's the consumption tax going to be paid from? Is it at the point of consumption or still at the corporate headquarters of the company?
Perhaps we'll get more clarity on that in the days to come. But let's look at some of the recommendations by the NGF. 50% for VAT based on equity, 30% on derivation, and 20% on consumption. What is the implication of this to drive for revenue, considering the economic reality now?
I still feel that Nigeria will try to survive on tax. For me, it is not neither here or there, because who are those going to be taxed anyway? It's still the citizens. We cannot survive just on taxation, and that is what is being touted. And I agree with the Governors Forum that the VAT should not be increased by now, because it's not too long that we increase VAT from 5% to 7.5%, then to 10%. They're trying to increase it again and all that. So you cannot tax your people to prosperity, and that is so what we are going to do. How do we grow the real sector? How do we diversify our earnings instead of just the oil that we are dependent on now? I'm glad that the Governors, one of the recommendations was that the agricultural sector, or things, mechanization and other things coming from agriculture, should be exempted or should have low tax. Also, they should extend that to critical medical infrastructure, like common diseases that we have in Nigeria, like asthma, like high blood pressure, diabetes, for pediatricians and some of those things. Those things can be brought low for maternal care, postnatal care, and prenatal care, and all those things should be brought low. You understand? So these are the things that we are talking about. So for now, we still look at how it plays out, but all are good. We should reduce emphasis on taxation.
Okay, but then other clauses recommended by the NGF include the no terminal clause on TED Fund, Naseni, and a few others. What is the likely implication of this?
We have been, as an academia myself, and somebody who is also in the academic institution, it has been a hot debate within the circle of academia in Nigeria for some weeks now. That the TED Fund is a very, very powerful, institution. The TED Funds have been able to do a lot of infrastructural development, capacity building for staff, academic and non-academic staff. It has been able to do a lot of, interventions in the areas of equipment, in the areas of research, in the areas of grants for research and production. It has been able to build a lot of infrastructure for universities. So TED Fund has done a lot for Nigeria tertiary institutions. So I don't know who in his, positive mind will say that he wants to scrap TED Fund. A TED fund should stay. It is a good development, and it should be encouraged. In fact, TED fund should be funded more. For Naseni and the other one, the impact have not really, maybe because they're specialized field, but for TED fund especially, TED fund should stay above all else, because it has contributed also enormously to training Nigeria in capacity in terms of professionalism, in terms of academic excellence, in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of trying to ensure that it's supporting school system, the academic system. If you go to a lot of Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions, you see TED fund, you see buildings funded by TED fund, dotting all over the campuses in Nigeria. Please, this should be encouraged. TED fund should stay, and that recommendation is a positive one.
Ambrose Igboke is a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for your time on TVC News at 10.
Thank you very much for having me on the news.